We're going to talk Callaway product. We're going to talk some Mizuno product, and we're going to talk about some fitting. That's my product. All next on What's in Your Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here, 7-time Golf Digest, America's best club fitter. And why is it what's in my drawers? It's because it's what's in the drawers of the golf shop, because old club fitters and club builders are tremendous pack rats. And this is no different. This is where we talk about golf club equipment and reviews, fittings, and repairs, and some other stuff in between. So let's get started. The golf season has started. We saw Chris Kirk won. He punched his ticket back to Hawaii. If nothing else, he gets to start the year off with everybody else again. Let's just hope that young man has, or we'll call him a middle-aged man in golfer years, a good season, right? He did very, very well, so good for him. All right, as far as fitting goes, did a couple fittings over the weekend. We are really doing very, very well with the fittings, and it was kind of funny. We did a fitting for a gentleman from Chillicothe, and we did one from the Cleveland area. He came down from the Cleveland area and was a single-digit handicapper, or is a single-digit handicapper, with no lessons, no nothing, just stuff that he just picked up and thought would be really good for him to swing. And it was really kind of funny because he was an old baseballer, and I can relate to baseballers playing the sport myself for a long time. But a lot of this stuff translates, right? And once you can talk baseball language with an ex-baseballer, the swing tends to get way better. And as a single digit, now when you're a single digit, you're not worrying about hitting it another 10 yards further. You're not worrying about, just these things that like the likes of you and I would be looking forward as average golfers. When I mean average golfers, 80 and above, right? And it's different windows, different feels. Where do you want to land it? That kind of stuff. And he was always he was hooking the ball, and he couldn't figure out why he couldn't stop hooking the ball. And he said he always used to have a push, but he started hooking the ball. And I said, okay, well, what did you change? And well, I was trying this and I was trying that. The different swing changes that you want to make, holding off on it, and these kinds of things. And I'm like, no, that's not where we want to go. Well, as it turned out, he had an extraordinarily wide stance. I mean, really wide. I mean, so what I tell people here at the fitting and in a golf swing, that you ought to start with an athletic posture. An athletic posture is feet shoulder widths apart, right? Knees slightly bent, you're bent slightly at the hips, and then the hands do what the hands do for each one of the sports: baseball, basketball, football, golf, that kind of stuff. And that's where it all begins, is a balanced platform for which you can make good athletic movements, making turns and stuff. So with this extra wide stance that he had, and I mean his feet were way out, that he couldn't make the turn, and in order to feel like he was making a turn, he had to pull, and he pulled to the inside. And when you pull the inside, it looks like a hook. So that was the very first thing that we changed. We changed that one in the putter, and this guy he was actually a really, really good putter, but he would always pull to the left. I'm like, okay, so what it was his alignment. He was a little too far over the ball, and he was very quick. His tempo was various, right? And you would think for somebody that was that good of a golfer, that would be something that was extraordinarily consistent, and it wasn't. And so once we got his stance correct to where he could actually see the putt, because he was over, it's going to look left, okay? And there's one part of it, and then he would zero in the putt. And I said, look, man, is that you in a nutshell, or are you just nervous here? And he goes, well, he says, and I said, just take 3 or 4 putts and just let me see. And when he started making putts, he was much smoother in the tempo, and it was nice and easy back and nice and easy forward. And the ball never left line. And I said, so there's the two things. We didn't have to change his putter. We just had to change the way he approached his putting. And so he stand a little bit taller so that he would, and golfers do this when the pressure's on, you tend to bend over, right? And you want to get closer to that ball. When all of a sudden, if you're a putt this far away, all right. But if you're any putt of substance, 6 foot and beyond, that's not the way to go. So we got him to there, and then we got him to smooth his tempo. And once I got him smoothing his tempo, he wasn't offline, he wasn't missing, he wasn't anything. So I knew that was going to translate into here because a lot of your putting characteristics get into your iron characteristics. And sure enough, that's what happened. So we narrowed his stance. We said, just take that nice, easy tempo and then just drive through it like you're going over center field. And once we started doing that, wow, just wow, we were really pouring it on. And he was a single length guy. And he's like, well, what can we do? And so I showed him, I was having him just hit 6 irons, and he says he hates 6 irons, and he was smoking them. Once we got him into the right length, he was smoking them. And so we had to make his single length a half of an inch longer, and we're going to check check his cobras out for loft and lies just to make sure they're on point so that he doesn't have his gaps. The other part that he said that he was kind of wishy-washy on was the wedges. And the wedge he was apprehensive about it, and I think it was every bit about lie angle, which is paramount in a wedge, and the weight. He was very weight sensitive. And so I just went over here and got him a regular weight. I threw a regular thing on him. I had to make sure it was bent up. I said, here, hit this. Instantly hit it better. I said, dude, I could give you a brick and a stick if it had this weight on it and it was at a certain angle, you could hit it. That's just where he was in his game. So we got that. Then we went to the driver, and it turns out as he gets taller, it's more of being on that spot where you're being a batter and you're throwing it through and trying to hit off of a tee, and he got better. And so we did a little bit here. So we needed to beef up his shaft and his driver because of his later release and a little harder acceleration that was going on. And so the typically softer shafts, we couldn't do that. We went with a firmer shaft in the club, but nothing heavy, just a slight firmer profile. The minute he did that, everything straightened right out. And we fit him into a paradigm, and it was a full club longer than his. And he says, well, what do I do with mine? He was still hitting it very, very well. He was just hitting the paradigm that much better. And I said, so he's creating a second bag. I said, put it in your second bag. You hit it well. You just don't hit it as good as this one. And so we went with that. All righty. So that, it's those types of things. Just sometimes the littlest tweaks can make the biggest differences. Pardon me. And that's what I was trying to get at with these fittings, is that I didn't give him some sort of miracle driver head or setup on shafts. It was, let's get you into a condition where that you can make your move as efficient as possible, and then let's fit the gear to get underneath of it. Because we stayed with his, we just had to change out the shafts. And we're going with the VRTX shafts because they're a little bit more butt stiff, so when he pulls down hard on them, that the club stays with him, where the other ones were softer. And he was spraying them, and that was what he wanted to do, is go from here to here. And that's what we accomplished. So, yay for us. All right. So along the weeks, we pulled together. It was a lot of fix and build week. We did several wedges, some, after Christmas birthday type stuff. And then this time we couple mail-ins. Phil from Tennessee, we did some re-gripping, and it was some of the most exotic shafts. He had the Sinister from VA shafts in there. And then he had the new, I think it's CQ from Golf, or from Graphite Design. And then another one, we have Larry, who's in Iowa. He has the Bravada, or BRAVA, Brava, the Brava shafts from BGTs. And he wanted me to make sure they were spine and flowed. And so all I got to do is cut and grip, and they're done. So a lot of that style of work. Now we're getting into the next setups where we're going to be, from these fittings that we're going to be building. So it's been a very, very productive week. We hit the street running. And not only I don't have any, I think Mrs. McGolf has the pictures, but the griddle that we got for Christmas, the McGriddle now we're going to call it. Oh, is that a trademark name that we might be taking away? Anyway, the Rectech McGriddle, how's that? We did smash burgers. I'm a fan. I am really a fan. So if you guys have never had one, wow, really, really good. And although I didn't make the best, the one's still at the Scout and Scholar there in Bardstown. Wow, best one to date so far. All righty, so let's get to some more of this stuff. All right, we're going to do Callaway first. Being a Callaway dealer, you would think that I would have the Callaway stuff in here. However, I made a bonehead error and I said, send it to me on the 15th. Really? Well, with everything that's going on, I should have said the first. So the only thing I've received is a display. And the display is this light up thing as you walk by it, and it shows the different layers. It's very cool looking, but it has nothing to do with building clubs. They also sent me this, and it's got this, and it says AI Smoke, sweeter every spot. Real player data combined with proprietary AI technology help create our revolutionary smart face. Multiple sweet spots across the entire face make the AI Smoke an average of 7 yards longer with 11% tighter downrange dispersion. And there's something in blue, more distance, lower spin, and probably tighter dispersion. Now, I do know about that part of it, but if you look here, if you see the biggest gains are here and here in the heel and the toe. Well, yeah, right. When you hit it in the heel and the toe, it's normally a crapshoot where it's going to go. But the rest of it, they're talking about, there you go. They're talking about 7, 4, 2. So if you're a toe hitter, right out here, then it might not get as much. But if you're into the heel a little bit, you're looking to get some serious gains. The other one is for where a lot of people actually hit down in this neck of the woods, the low spot, you're looking like you might very well do very, 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 very well. And then look at the very top. If you hit a goose egg, you're not going to be penalized as much. Now, what does all that mean? All right. So, of course, everybody knows that Callaway has got a supercomputer and AI has been designing their stuff for the last several years. And the biggest thing has been jailbreak. They've been jailbreak, and then AI face comes into play. Well, there's no more jailbreak. It is all AI face. So now what they're doing is they said they put in 250,000 swings, and they let the scientists there get with the AI, make us a new face. Now, you notice how it seems like there's ripples in here. All right. That's because that's what the face looks like. All right. All that right there. You see how that looks? It's not symmetrical. It's more like waves. And that's what helps. And last year, that was one of the things with the Paradigm. It was a fairway finder. If you hit it off center, it didn't go screaming off to the right or left. It just, it would go right or left, but not grossly right, left. And so what they're saying is this is even better still for that. Now, the internet is a flutter, and I went and looked that everybody that's hit it well, hit it far, hit it well. Everybody seemed to give a lot of positive reviews. The only one that I've seen so far that was, I will say, it was one of those I hate to give it a good rating kind of videos. I think it was Finch, and he said, he didn't like the lettering on the name. He didn't like that the gray was on the bottom or something along that lines. He thought it felt hard, but yet it went 6 yards further and it was tighter in dispersion. He said if it felt softer and he did that, he would really, really love it. Okay. All that means is that, and he didn't like the fact that it had the name that wasn't a TaylorMade. So I'm not sure what that means. That could be just him just talking off the cuff, but in all reality, he hit it very well. And I even asked him that. I asked him, I said, well, you didn't like this, you didn't like that, you like that, and you like that. So did you like it or not? And so I didn't get any answer from that, obviously. The irons are getting some love now. Now that we can talk, we've talked about this. If you guys have seen the pictures, the back ends probably just it depends on your idea of what you like looking at. I thought the Paradigm, the original, looked good. The blue and the gold was a nice smooth transition. The smoke seems to be a little bit, oh, well, can we say cleaner? There's not a lot of massive contrast when you go from a shiny gray to a smoky design in the back, and so there's not a lot of transition, so it doesn't capture you like that. Now, the good thing about this is built in the same fashion that the regular Paradigm is. It's just a cast face instead of a forged face, and that is going to lower the price tag from the original Paradigm. So now all of a sudden you can get that Paradigm performance at a lower cost point. And honestly, I don't, with all what's going on with the weights and the microspheres and all that other stuff, that I don't know if anybody's really going to be able to tell a difference and get something lower. Okay. So hopefully we get all that. So when mine comes in, you can expect a review of it for sure. Hopefully you'll watch it and it's all good. Mizuno, on the other hand, they sent me some clubs. And today I got all the heads in. But so the 241 is right here. There you go, 241. 241 is the blade, right? 2 is the model year, 4 for 24, and 1 for the blade. Now let's do a little comparison. I've got a 221 right here. So if we were to put them up together and we look at them, let's try this. Here we go. And you tried it. There we go. You can see the sole on this guy, which is a 241, this one over here. See that? Different, right? This one appears to be a little more round. I think that's because of a little bit more chrome on it. But this one, honestly, when you look at it, it's a little narrower in the heel. And that's one of the big things they keep talking about is the redesign. So apparently the sole on this thing has been redesigned. And if you look, there's a lot of this in their designs. The trailing edge and the leading edge are a little bit more chamfered than this guy. All right, this one has a little bit more sole grind, which is the 2.2, the 2.4, a little less sole grind as far as heel toe, but back from front to back is that way. Now, the real question is, did they make it shorter? I'll be darned if they didn't. I don't know if I got it all the way there. They said they wanted to make it a little more compact. I don't know if you can tell it's more compact or not. Here it is. Within maybe a millimeter or two, the blade length is a little bit shorter, and that's the idea here. So they wanted to go a little more compact, a little more players-like, and moving more weight, because if you see the elongated, because these are both 6 irons, see how the weight's a little bit elongated and how it's more pyramided to the middle, and you got that. There we go. This is the 2.4. This is the 2.2. There we go. If I could, there we go. There's the old, there's the new. Okay. I really need to switch this thing over if I can remember how to do it while you guys are looking at me. Anyway, let's do that. Much better. Now I can look at you and say this is the right one. Okay. So, in every instance, these are made out of a 1020 carbon steel, and they go through their grain flow forged, and which is getting up to about 1200 degrees and pounding it into a shape, and then it cools down. Then you bring it back up to another temperature, and you you pound out to the final shape, do some grinding, and then the grooves in here are pressed in. All right, they're not milled in, they're pressed in. And there's a lot that goes into that, by the way. And as far as the press, being able to make this and then make it repeatable, because the presses only go for so long. And these guys are making, tens of thousands of golf club heads, and the presses themselves, or these molds, only last in the scheme of thousands. All right, so it goes down, it gets done, and then it's in its raw form. And then it gets a layer of copper, and then it gets this coating on it that gives it that particular shine. All right, and that's what the copper is what gives it the softer feel. Now I hit this, all right, because it's left-handed. How about a blade and left-handed, right? So all you lefties out there, got left-handed if you're that kind of a player. Eagle rare, by the way. So, last year that wasn't a thing. So this year it is. And I hit it. Now I hit some of the other ones from the select models, and I got along with them famously. I shouldn't have, but I did. And I'm not sure what that was all about. The only thing that took me back was that these things are very, very weak. And what I mean weak, it's not weak if you're a player. Those irons are meant for people that got good ball striking skills and got high club head speed. Okay. I will say decent club head golf ball striking skills, and I got poor club head speed. So I did hit them, and we're going to see a review on them, to the point I'm kind of excited about it. We might put out 2 videos this week because I just want to get one out. And I was swinging at, let's see, I wrote it stuff down. I was swinging at 73, 77, and 83 with a pitch of 7 and a 5. So I got up to about 84, 85, which isn't too bad. The more I swing, the faster you get, right? These were literally the very first swings after laying off for almost 2 solid months. And I got the pitch and wedge, and so these are extraordinarily short in comparison, and we expect them to be, right, because they're a weaker club. I was 120 with the pitch and wedge. I was 155 with a 7 iron, and about 175, 176 with a 5 iron. Now that's actually pretty good ball striking, and some really good spin rates, and doing it very well. And the landing zones, my pitch and wedge was really good, my 5 iron was really good, and my 7 iron was awful. And when I went back to go re-look at my specs, I found out that their 7 iron is basically a half an inch long. And I was like, whoop. So I started choking down. All of a sudden, things started coming back my way. So there's that one. So again, 241 blade, soft. I hit it pretty decent. But if you're not a good, if you hit it in the behind there, like every other golf shot, it feels great. If you get off of it, it's going to rattle your eye teeth. And that's just blades in general. All right, next one. This is only in right-handed, so I can't tell you much other than this is the 243. All right, the 243 is the player's cavity back. It is meant to, and you could combo with those. So you could make these at the upper end, put these at the lower end, and be good to go. Now, this is a little different. Now, I've got here is the older model, and you can see that they move the weight around, right? They move the weight around to make it more behind the ball. You can see that this looks like the toe is a little more sweeping higher, where this one is a little thicker down here, right? Let's look that way. And then the noticeably thinner in the sole, right? Noticeably thinner in the sole. So again, compact, okay, compact. Now what they do here is they started using chromoly, and in the upper end, 4 through the 7, I believe, 4 through the 7 is using chromoly, and they have some very, very thin faces, around 2 millimeters right here, and you can almost feel it flexing. Now there's a bit of a cap in here, and what they did was, what they'll do is in this pocket cavity right here, this pocket cavity, they'll take that out, and what they'll do is they'll cut a hole so that whole face will flex, and then they'll cover it back up and put this cap back on it, and that's how it works. Now you get down to the 8 down to the pitching wedge, and it's solid 10-20. So when you get into the lower clubs, a little more control, probably a bit of a different feel as well from the chromoly to this. Now, chromoly is nothing more than another fancy term for a different kind of steel. So you can get into that. So, but most of these, 3 through the pitching wedge. In the 241s for righties, 3 through the pitching wedge. For lefties, 4 through the pitching wedge. Why do you not make a gap wedge? Make a gap wedge. Okay. Last one, 245. This is the one I've been waiting on. And I've been hoping and praying that one day they will make this into a left-handed club. Voila, left-handed club. All right, so here's the right-hand club, and there's a left-handed club. And again, you can see the longer muscle, where this is more of a pyramided type muscle. And I think this is more, if you go back and look at other, designs Mizuno's put out, this is probably more their speed, right? You see this point in the back. Now this is a hollow body, and it's a forged hollow body, and how they're getting it into the hollow body is some sort of Mizuno magic. As I read, that the hosel, the face, the sole, into the toe is all merged, and that's all forged in one piece, and then there's a cap on the back. There's about 70 grams of tungsten laying down in here, and that's to help get underneath the ball so you can hit the ball higher. And you hit the ball higher, and what'll happen is that if it doesn't spin as much because the lofts are stronger, that it will land as soft as something was coming in spinning. All right. Now, this doesn't change a whole lot. Now, I think if memory serves, this one actually might come with a gap wedge in it. And I hit these too. In every case, again, they're all forged, they're all covered in copper, and they all have this coating on it just like this, so that it will work, and the painted scoring lines. Now, I did some testing over the weekend, and for some reason, I hit the 245s and the 241s almost the same distance. And I got to thinking, how is that even possible? When I was looking at this, the pitching wedge actually went a lot further, and the 7-iron went about 5 yards further, and then the other one went actually didn't go as far. But then we go back and I did something. I thought maybe, just maybe, I was hitting the 241s all over again, and I was just hitting them better. Well, today I went, just before getting on here, I started hitting them again. Now, if you look at this, and if I was to put these together, and you saw these things sitting in a bag, and you saw that, all right, look at that. There's not, it's pretty cool looking, right? When you get them up there and you look at them, a little bit thicker in the sole, got a pretty good look to them, obviously a different design, but I've grabbed these things and I've been wrong on them about a half a dozen times so far. Anyway, I went back and I was about what was I? Just shy of 130. It was 129 with the pitch and wedge, 170 and I hit one out to 190, but that was a pure fluke. It was a zero spin ball. It was not that, you can't even count that. But I carried, it would have been about a 175 shot, which is what I expect to see out of those golf clubs. And then I got out to 180 with the 5-iron. I don't even carry a 5-iron, so the fact that I was actually able to hit the thing and hit it in a decent pattern was not too bad. Now, whoops, wrong club. I picked that one up every time. So what was in these clubs? In the 245, and the 245, it had the dynamic gold mid 115. And you know, I didn't think I was going to be a real big. I didn't think I was going to be a real big dynamic gold fan, but I like that one. It was a little softer than the normal dynamic gold, and that's what the mid is, I think. And then I hit the KBS, and it was a tour light. I don't know what was light about it, but and it was a much more butt stiff club. Uh, it was a butt stiff club, and it got through the ball okay. But in either one of my cases, if I was to get one of these, I would have to put in a lighter shaft, say about a 95 gram shaft, and go with it. And I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about maybe a VRTX, maybe even an 80 gram, and because of just the way that thing works, maybe we'll see. And but now that I got the new ones, I can start testing, and we'll find out whether or not that's real or not. Okay, bonus round. Bonus round. I'm not. Some of this stuff is an embargo, and some of it is not. So I'm not going to take club head covers off. I did a bit of a request, and Cleveland. I never thought I would want to test these, but the Cleveland guy, which is the Shrixon rep, he's a new guy, and he is just trying real hard. And I'm going to give the guy props for. I asked him for some left-handed stuff, and apparently he reached into his supply. And here's the one I can't show you. The Halo XL. Okay. At least I don't think so. Let's see. I don't see what's any special about it. Halo XL. There you go. But I got to test those. So I got a driver, driver Fairwood hybrid, and that's not it. I got a couple of irons. Now there is one in here I'm kind of excited about. I think the Halo. Everybody knows what the Halo looks like. It's a hybrid.
Woods, yes, irons, no.
Huh?
Woods, yes, irons, no.
Okay.
See, I'm listening to you.
Hey, very good. There's one coming out. This is the one I can't show you. A Cleveland Zip Core XL, and it has, let's just say, it has the beveled edges like the Shrixon does, but it's got a massively large cavity. All right, massively large cavity in it. This is made to be a super game improvement club, and I'm going to hate it if I hit it well because it does look very, very nice. So we got lots to test. So I got the Clevelands to test. I got the Callaways coming in. I'm thinking my swing's going to get grooved, and here in the next couple of months, and hopefully my swing speed starts getting back up. Because I could tell, after hitting those golf balls yesterday, and I sat down, I was like, "Yep, golf muscles, they're not there." So that was pretty cool. All right, so hopefully you guys got your hook on everything that you saw. Again, there will be videos coming out. Matter of fact, before we get into the answers, like and subscribe if you would. Let's get down there and let's nuke this subscription stuff and let's get it right out of the top. Tomorrow there will be a video. It is my take on what happened in 2023 in McGolf. And I didn't make it super duper long. And some of you guys actually will show up on it. So it was very cool. So I appreciate it. Let's get going. Matt. No rounds because of snow. We did. Did you guys get covered up? Because we had a flurry for about an hour and then it went away. When does everyone start to look at their equipment for 24? My answer is always, as he starts laughing, and that's because he plays in the snow. All right, he didn't have a choice. Normally, and I'm probably as bad at it. I mean, there's my set right there, and there's the backup right there, and I pulled those out. I pulled a couple out in for my testing, and that's about all I've done. I did pull out the putter to make sure the putter was still working, and it is. So we're good there. Scott, need your email address. I have a few questions about nephew and him buying a new set of irons. Okay, I'm sure somewhere down here Robin has already answered that, but if not, it's mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com. There's Kent. He made it in. Always met, not buying obviously, but checking specs, grips, ferrules. It's an ongoing process. Kent, that couldn't have been a better way to say it. Uh, one of two things. Either one, before you put them up, there's always some sort of put up process if you know that you're getting into a season where you're just not going to go play. And we tend to do that about, and whatever you do, don't store them in the garage, right? Just put them in a closet somewhere behind the coats and whatnot. And because the temperature swings will cause premature aging of your golf clubs, rubber, ferrules, glue, rust, the whole 9 yards. But what we do is if you're not going to go for a while, then I suggest you clean it up. Empty out the golf bag from top to bottom, shake it out, get that dirt out of it, and clean your bag, right? Clean your bag with a nice soft bristle brush and like a lightweight detergent, and just scrub it down and then wipe it down and let it dry. Your bag will last longer for that. Nobody wants to do it because it's a pain in the butt, but it makes you last longer. Wipe down the grips and take off all those hand oils, and then a layer of wax on your golf clubs. And that's just to help protect it. It's going to be sitting in the bag, so it's a nice protectant. Take a look at your golf balls. If you got ones that have got a lot of road rash, trash them, right? Use them as practice balls, put them in your shag bag or whatever, and wait for the newest release of whatever's coming out, and maybe get you a dozen and go with that. Golf tees, if you use several different kinds of golf tees, make sure you got enough. The thing that I cannot stress enough at this particular point is a first aid kit. First aid kit. You put one in there with a number of Band-Aids, right? Number of Band-Aids, some bee sting stuff, some sunburn stuff, some lip balm stuff, those types of things. And just make your own little ditty bag of it and put it in there. And then check your golf gloves if you wear them. If there's one's prematurely worn, for all those guys that sweat in their golf glove and they let it air out, that's a grand thing, except for sometimes they get rock hard. And when they're rock hard, that means they're not going to do their job in gripping for you. So look at another one. Those are probably the cheapest things that you can put brand new into the bag that will help your game quickest. The other way is if you know you're going to do it at the beginning of the next season, do the exact same thing. You're just doing it later. All right. Manual. Enjoy the kids' game, Matt. No rounds this week either. Busy repairing and prepping others. Yep. For their season snowbird trips. Oh, yeah. I bet they want to get away after this last one dropped about almost 2 foot of snow up there where you guys are at. And new USA groove went into effect this year. Yeah, the new groove that's been here for 8 years? 8 years. Oh my God. And now it's here. Yeah, they already instituted it, so I don't know anybody that's going to be impacted too dramatic about it. And he says the Callaway AI drivers fairwoods are really rocking. Like them better than the Q10. Since I've not seen the Q10, I can't tell you. But I would, being a Callaway guy, we'll hit the new ping this week, waiting on the new Cobras to come in. Hoorah, Manuel. Good job. Peter, how you doing, Peter? You're in my video tomorrow. They were showing pictures. So very cool. Hopefully everything's going well with you and the wife. Peter Mize, how are you? From Long Island. Hey, how you doing, man? First timer on here. Welcome aboard. Charlie, we missed you last week, bud. Forgot to say. Today is the college football championship. It's going to come on 8 o'clock my time. So, and what we've been saying out here in our land is two Big Ten teams. All right. Anyway, hey Matt, those of us that play serious are always looking, no doubt. Charlie saying that. Also, if you didn't see, Eagle Rare, and I even got a glass for it to go in there. This was a find forever right here. Okay. My dog Rex with the thumbs up. If you guys would, please follow his lead with some thumbs up. And if you guys got any friends out there, let them subscribe. Let's find out about that. All right. There's, hey, Charlie. And then there's Robin talking to everybody. Boop, 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 boop. The Hammer. Yep. Tiger and Nike are parting ways. It was a good run. I was listening to that. I listened to Sirius XM on the way home, and they were talking about that at length, right? At length. And, and it was 27 years. That's almost unheard of. And, of course, that drives all the speculation. Is Nike getting out of it? Rah, 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 rah. Well, there's still other golfers playing it. Maybe Tiger believes that he can start a brand of his own. The question is that I'll just put it out there. Tiger Woods is a superstar of golf, right? He is literally, we'll call him, he's like the Michael Jordan of golf. And Michael Jordan is making a killing selling shoes. Now, he's a basketball player, and there's his shoes. I don't see people running to go get Tiger Woods golf shoes because, well, I don't even know if they exist. All right. And there might be a limited because of where golf goes or the styles. So maybe we'll see something of his own making. I doubt seriously we'll see him go to one of the boutique brands like the Travis Matthews or something like that. Just because the numbers that they would have to pay him, I don't think they have. But there you go. How was the trip on the Bourbon Trail? Charlie, it was awesome. If you were here last week, I could have showed you some pictures. They were there. We went to 6 different distilleries, from well-knowns to maybe not so much. We did Michter's, and we didn't get we got that book, and that was the only place we didn't get stamped. But the toasted models out of that, awesome. Then we went to Angel's Envy and we poured our own. I saved Robin from destroying the bottle there, or the barrel. That's a funny joke. And we got something that was in between. I think it's kind of like a barrel strength, and that's okay. I don't know if I'm a fan of Angel's Envy, but we got 2 commemorative bottles, so we'll probably open one and keep the other. Then the next day was, I got to think about this one, Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark was a phenomenally cool tour. It's in the middle of absolutely nothing. And if you take the GPS route, it takes you through the back ways, but they've now since paved the road, so it's a little safer. Then we went to Willet, a generationally owned distillery. That was very cool. I like the personal touches on some of that stuff. And then the next day was Buffalo Trace, which we scored some big stuff there. And then we went to Bardstown Bourbon, which was kind of like the Gen Z of bourbon making. So, but they're all good fun, all good tours. Learned a lot. And then we stayed in the Bourbon Barrel, which was even fun, even more fun. It was unique. I don't think so many people can say they stayed in a bourbon barrel. And so that was cool. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now I got Robin going. I'm like, hey, when are we going to go on the next one? Because there's some by Cincinnati. We could hit 3 or 4 there. And I'm getting the eye roll already. So we'll have to see. I didn't know unless I have to take a look for the replay. Yeah, we did it Tuesday. Everybody was saying Tuesday, so we did it. Warren's Golf. How are you, sir? That's a new one. And I do like the guy wearing knickers. That's pretty cool. From the back, it looks like Payne Stewart, but I doubt it is because this guy's wearing a vest. Very cool. Thank you for being on. Mr. Jones, how are you, sir? Glad to see you're here. I did like to see Thursday. There you go. Steve Bird, another one. Thank you. From England. Well, how you doing, buddy? Appreciate you being on so late. Thank you. Could you please suggest the best grips for my arthritic hands? It's becoming more and more painful when I hit the ball. I've gone from a 10 to a 15. Ooh, that's not good. Well, I do happen to have one for you. And I believe, I don't know, there's Diamond Golf there in England that sells grips. They're the supplier of a lot of golf supplies, obviously. They can get it. But depending on your hand size, Jumbo Max. Okay, for two reasons. Let me show you one. I'll show you two, as a matter of fact. Okay, so Jumbo Max, their small is bigger than most people's jumbo. And they do have, this is only two of the several models that they have. This is the ultralight and this is the tour model. The tour model is heavy, and so there's a lot of weight that will be placed in your hand. So if you like the weight up here to be able to swing to kind of get that, we'll call it the buggy whip feel where the head is a little bit lighter, that's the way to go. And they do work very, very well. If you like it something lighter, this guy is the way you want to go. And these grips are actually, as big as they are, lighter than standard grips. So you're going to have a lot of head feel. All right. Now they have released a couple of extras. One is called the Zen Light, and it's a big grip like this, but it has a rubber outer coating on it. And then there's a Straight 8, which is it's almost a zero tapered grip. So I would go to Jumbo Max. Now, why do I say that? Well, that's a medium. These are both mediums. Okay, these are both mediums. And just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about in size, this is a standard grip, and this is their medium. That's pretty much, that's a pretty big difference. So anyway, for an arthritic grip, you want it to be obviously bigger so that you don't have to use a lot of grip pressure. And then the other one, the reason why I like this one instead of what would be arthritic grips is because they're normally rubber, and those tend to transmit a lot of sting. And a lot of sting is where it gets into the joints where the arthritis is, and it just sends shock waves up through the hand. Well, these things are two-piece grips, and they're underlistings, and that absolutely absorbs a truckload of vibration, which would make it even better. Okay, even better. Now there is one other thing that I would express to you, and I don't know if they're still around. Mrs. McGolf might know. Is there's a bionic grip, a bionic golf glove made by Louisville Golf or Louisville Slugger, sorry, and obviously from Louisville in Kentucky. And bionic grips are made for guys that have arthritis, and it is a grip, or it's a golf glove, sorry, pardon me, it is a heavy duty leather glove.
Yes, two of them.
Okay, and they have padding in these little slivers, extra padding here, here, and here, right where and right where the sting would happen. When those things came out, they were godsends for folks that had arthritis. There's several different styles. So number one, I would look up Jumbo Max. Number two, look up bionic grips or bionic golf gloves. Golf gloves. Holy cow! And see what you did that. All right. Yeah, you should be able to under the live settings there, Charlie. If you go, because we have normal and we have live, you should be able to find it. There we go. Oh, Charlie, how many did we come back with? If I had my phone here, I could show you, but I believe the last count was 22. We came back with 22. In most cases, unfortunately, with Angel's Envy, we had to get one of the same. At Michter's, they had a gift kit that had a Shanks and I want to call it stout, but that's not the word I'm looking for. It's not small batch. Sour mash. The sour mash. And I think I even got another one of the other kind. So we walked away with a few on that one. And then at Willett, we walked away with Rowan's Creek and the old Bardstown. and at Bardstown Bourbon. They've been in business long enough for 6 years that this year was the first release of their own title without any mixing. So they had their own bourbons. And so we got two of those, not their first model, but the other two. We normally ended up one with a rye and then their second tier. And then at Maker's Mark, again, two different Maker's Mark, both a little bit upper shelf. I got to dip one. That was kind of cool. You'll see that in the other video. And then at Buffalo Trace, we went hog wild. We went in there and we stood in line. If you've never been, it's a sea of humanity. This is by far and away the most popular place to go. And Eagle Rare was the allocated bottle of the day. And so we got two of those. I got two of the Buffalo Trace. And I don't know, we got something else. Anyway, we got some tchotchkes while we were in there. And then we went on the tour, which was very cool. I came back and they said because they ran out of Eagle Rare so fast, they put out some Weller. So we went back down, got 2 bottles of Weller and 2 bottles of the Buffalo Cream. So if you guys like a sweeter kind of thing, you're not if bourbon's kind of harsh, this Buffalo Cream mixed with a little root beer floats all day, and they're awesome. Walked away with that, and oh geez, we walked away with, what was that, 2, 4, 6, 8 bottles in that one, maybe more, and then everywhere else. So yeah, 22. It was a lot. Pooey, how are you, sir? Glad to see you're back. For the left-handed stuff, the Mizuno, you probably would have liked that one, man. Hopefully you got to enjoy that. Very cool. Glad to see you're back in on it. Charlie, look in for it. Very cool. If you got any questions, just send it out. David Jones, thanks for asking. All is well. Glad to see the eyes are repairing. Bob Lassiter. All right. Bobby and Buddha would still like your opinion of Warrior AL AccuFlex shafts. I don't know if I've ever been asked that one, but AccuFlex, I didn't even think AccuFlex was still around, Bob. Back in the day, AccuFlex was that shaft that all the long drive guys had to have. Absolutely had to have those. And they also, the stronger swingers, AccuFlex, had to have it, AccuFlex. A lot of them were, they were wound shafts, if I believe correctly. And there might have been hybrids of some where they might have been pre-preg and then winding over the top of them. I had a couple in here that, for what they were and what they were for, they were very, very good. I've never heard of one called Warrior. All right. They all had some really weird names, but none of them said Warrior. AL, obviously, for the amateur ladies. And so if you've got an old, I will go with this. If you've got an old AccuFlex shaft and it's an A&L, which means that it's probably got a 6-inch tip on it for you to trim, if you're in that category, then it will work. It's going to be it's not going to be a flimsy AL by any shape of the imagination. Now, on the other side of this thing, if it's from a thing called Warrior Golf, negative. But if it's an AccuFlex, I don't see anything wrong with it. Pooey, Jim and Robin, 84 on Saturday, 34 points Sunday in the first round of 3 in a foursome tournament. Currently struggling with my 4-iron of testing a 7-wood. I have struggled with hybrids as of late. Okay. Well, Pooey, here's the thing. I know over there on the other side that keeping the ball low is paramount because you want to keep out of the wind in a lot of cases. But the opposite can be said. As our swing speed goes down, the 4-iron becomes so much harder to hit because you can't get it off the ground. I myself am experiencing that right this very moment with the 5. My 5 and 6 iron are about 3 or 4 yards in difference in length. Okay. And I'm hitting them both very well. It's just that the doggone thing is so strong. The thing is so strong, it's hard to get the thing up in the air enough to get the distance that is really required of it. Now, I know the begging question out there, well, can you put in a different shaft? I would say yes, but I can't confirm that because I've never done it and I've never had anybody else do it. There's a guy over there on your side of the pond, SGGT. It's Scott Gurley. He's mostly in Scotland, and he's in Scotland and Denmark, Edinburgh, and there's another place. He's outside of Edinburgh, and I'm pretty sure he might want to have in the UK, in the other part of the UK. That guy tests 4-iron. He tests 3 different irons, and I asked him, does he find himself with different shafts in a lot of his clubs? And he says, yeah, almost all the time. So that might be the place to go to visit. I would recommend. Scott's a class act. That dude is top notch. Good guy and can golf. Woo, can he golf? But I would look at that. So if you're struggling with a 4-iron, the 7 wood's probably going to be it. But I would think that the 7 wood, although don't get confused on loss, you actually should hit the 7 wood probably a bit further. Okay. And if you're struggling with hybrids as of late, I don't know, maybe something's changed. Justin Beer, what do you say, buddy? Let's take a look at that thing. I like the oh, look at that. Okay. A 4H'er type guy. Very well done, bud. Good job. I have the same exact 1x42 you have as you and arm, wondering how you put a buffing wheel on it. Mine doesn't have the outer threads to screw on a nut. Also, what wheels to use? That's because I use an adapter. There's an adapter that goes on that arbor. Okay. What that is a double arbored shaft or double arbored motor. And one side's got the 1x42, the other one's just got an arbor. And what you have to do is you get this adapter, and I believe Golfworks sells it. Okay. At least that's where I got mine. And that arbor, it goes on that arbor, and it has a set screw that sets down on the flat. And then what you can put on there is anything you daggone well please. On one of mine, I use it as buffing wheels. I got the 8-inch unstitched buffing wheels that have a 1/2-inch arbor on them, and you can and they squish them together. This time has been pretty difficult. The last two, I've put 1 or 2 wheels, these unstitched wheels on there because I use them up and they get too small. And I put this last one on, and it's been hard. It has been really hard to keep this thing from. It's like it's off balance, and I'm not sure what that means. But I think as I use it a little more, it's calming down now, and you just have to use it a little bit more. On the other one, I use a wavy wheel, which is a 3M nylon wheel. It's the red color. The red's important. And what it is, it's these 2 wavy washers. You put 1 wavy washer on there. You put these 3, because they're like 1/4 inch, maybe even 1/2 inch, but I think more like 1/4 inch. And you smash them together. And you're really going to have to work at this. And because they're reverse threaded, and tighten them in there, and you might just get enough thread engagement to smash them together, and it causes the wheel to do this. And you want that in order to to prevent grooving stuff. And I've used that for 20 plus years. Hopefully that's it. Where the Callaway, now the 7 wood from Callaway has always been a winner. That one, that Heaven wood, I don't know anybody who hasn't hit that one well. Always a good one. Now the U wood's a little different. The U wood is an Apex model. I've got one. I'm looking right at it. You got a bit of a higher swing speed than I do. The shaft that comes in, it's an MMT, so it's for a little more aggressive swinger. You might like that one. It's a little flatter than a hybrid and a little shorter than a fairway wood, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. Dean Anderson, there we go. Talking grills and food, love it. Clubs, the golf clubs arrived today. Everything is good. Thanks. Very good. Robin said she enjoyed your guys' visit, so very cool. I'm glad you guys stopped back. All righty. Vera shafts are butt stiff to prevent spring. You would not be incorrect. Greek to me, unfortunately. Well, let's see if we can un-Greek it for you there, Dennis. So, I am not.
That's Dean from Illinois.
Oh, from Illinois.
They gave you the idea of apple crisp or apple.
Oh, well, Dean, we got to go back and give you a little bonus here. What was the guys that stopped today?
That was Dean Walker. You had the Dean right.
Oh, I had the Dean right. Sorry, Dean. Thanks. Dean, we're going to give Dean right here and now. We're going to give Dean credit for the. He was talking to Robin and said something about where customers become friends, and I'm like, that is one really freaking cool tagline.
That was Dean Walker.
And huh?
That was Dean Walker that said that. Yes.
Dean Walker said that.
Yes.
See, you are confusing the hell out of me.
There's more than one Dean.
But you're telling me all this stuff.
Dean Anderson, who
See,
just said thanks
Venus-
for meeting you. He's in Illinois. He met us.
Venus and Mars. Venus and Mars. Venus and Mars. Yes, I do. Venus and Mars. All right. So, Dean, sorry. We'll go right back to it. Thank you. I'm glad you got your stuff. All right. All righty. So butt stiff. So in a shaft, there's in very basic format. In a shaft, there's a butt section, there's a mid section, and there's a tip section. All right. And that's how a lot of people will describe golf shafts. They will be like, you'll hear the words tip stiff or tip flexible. Mid will be mid stiff, mid flexible, or mid, and you'll hear butt stiff or butt flexible. Okay, so different profiles of shafts, and there are tons of them. I'm not going to go through all of it. I could talk about this for a whole nother hour. Needless to say, within steel and within graphite, there are going to be more steel or more graphite options in different profiles because they have the capability of layering out what they want because of the way that a graphite shaft is made. Steel, on the other hand, has basically an extrusion process and then an annealing process in order where you want to get to where you want to be. And that allows a lot of flexibility, but not as much as this per se. So starting from what would be standard steel shafts like Dynamic Golds, KBS Tours, Modus 120s, and that's a good example. So KBS Tours and Dynamic Golds and regular rifle shafts were pretty much in the same philosophy. Slightly stiff in the butt section, little bit just hair soft in the mid with a stiffer tip, and that there was all for control. Well, each one of those guys varied those just ever so slightly in order to give different flights. The rifle to me was the best because it was a smooth shaft, much like graphite, and allowed the transfer of energy and did way better. Now, the Modus, a little different. What they did is they went and had a little bit more butt stiff, but the midsection was very soft, and then with a nice firm, we'll call it a firm tip section, and it just allowed all this extra kick, and a lot of people really like that. All right, and so without telling anybody, that's what they did. Now they also have other ones which I call steel rods, the 125s and the 30s, that are just all kinds of stiff all the way across. All right, so you get into lightweight shafts, and this is where all this stuff starts changing focus. And what happened was Nippon came out with a 95-gram shaft, infinitely popular. Why? Because it was butt soft. It was a little firmer in the mid and a little bit, it wasn't super stiff, but it was firmer in the tip section. So what were you doing? You were throwing the shaft and you're bringing the whole club around instead of just the tip section. And it became something, and he hit the ball higher. The club face closed a little bit more. Life was grand. okay, until you got to a guy that was aggressive and he would start spraying it because this is what he was holding on to. He's trying to do this and it wasn't reacting well. Well, okay, so now what happens is you get these guys involved and they make a butt stiff shaft just like the VRTX, and VRTX is a little bit more, and even an 80 gram, 70 gram, 90 gram are more butt stiff, and then they start uh, getting softer as you go down in order for that guy to pull hard but still let the club come around, just kind of in the reverse from the guy that was a softer pull, and to allow the club to come around. So that's what we do in the fitting world is, I got all kinds of stuff to look at over here, and and you got to know the profiles, and then you got to know the swings, but that's what helps. So hopefully that helped you out, bud. All right. Krister, still cold in Sweden. No kidding. Haven't touched his irons this week. What? Except for his cast iron pan. I'd hate for you to lose track of all those lessons that you're due, man. Hopefully you get on it. Hopefully you're not buried in the snow. Look at him being comical over there. I didn't even see anything on Instagram from you this week either, so you're not lying. Cast iron is the only way to cook. You're not wrong there either. Robin's saying, hey, everybody do that. Hey, Robin, I'm excited to see how the new triple diver performs. So, Dan, of course, I've not seen any other than when the rep came by, but everybody I've seen that's hit it on YouTube, we'll put it that way, the guys that at least I know a little bit about, it hit pretty good. I mean, Shields, he's number one out there as far as subscribers go, and he was pounding it out there. He was doing a pretty good job with it, and he was hitting the triple diamond. In every case, Dan, this smoke is easily, I'll give it a range 4 to 7 yards longer, depending on how and where you hit it, but 4 to 7 yards longer. Now, is it a fairway finder as of yet? I'm going to reserve my right. Now, in what we did notice, as I said earlier, is that they took out the jailbreak. So there's no more jailbreak, but it's still going with the 360-degree carbon body with an end cap with a slider on one and the titanium on the front. And then the other two don't have the sliders. Now, if you guys haven't seen, they're also coming out. They've changed. The Chrome Soft is not going to be around any longer. So if you really like the Chrome Soft, I would wait just a hair, because the new ones, they're going to come out with Tours and another name like a Tour, and there's another name, and the life of me I can't remember. They redesigned the golf ball. They're coming out with a new name, and that's what it is. So if you really like the Chrome Soft, give it about a month, and you might be able to get them on sale. All right. Dimple Sphere, what do you say, buddy? What was the dispersion? Well, on the irons, not too bad. I haven't hit any woods yet. Where that's next. I got plenty to hit. All righty. Happy 2024 from the Dimpled Spear, and same to you, sir, and I would say same to everybody else. Cold here in Lombard, supposed snow tonight in the next 24 hours. Well, at least you're getting snow, Jack, because tomorrow it's supposed to get up into the 50s with all kinds of rain, and then it's supposed to turn around and get into the 30s. So we're going to be living in the land of ice for at least a couple of days. Oh, my gosh. How about the 245s? The 245s, I'm kind of liking these guys, Charlie. I like the look. Yeah. Oh, and when they talked about the top line, if we can look at that, there's the top line of that guy, and it's not very wide. Now, if I show you the 241, look at this. Oh, that's the old one, or the 245, or the 241. Here it is. Look at this thing. When you talk about a butter knife, this is what you see in the dictionary now. 245 right there, or 241, 245 again. There you go. right there. I think this. I mean, for a golf club to be able to hit, not bad, not bad at all. There you go. Jerry Smiley, what do you say, bud? Rain is here, 54 now. We'll see 60s on Wednesday. We'll look at you go. Jay Kaufman, sorry to see late to the show. What are the major differences between the new versions, the 225? All right. 225. 225. It's all right-handed. There you go. So what the big deal here is if you see this, see how it's elongated or it's straight, and this seems to be more pronounced versus this. Here we go. This is more up in more pyramid fashion, where this is not. Now, it doesn't look that way until I do this. Put this one up in here. Get my other hand to work. There you go. There's the difference. And then the sole was changed ever so slightly. I think that the sole on the newer one is thinner and has a little more taken off of the backside, and the blade length might be shorter by you're counting in millimeters, dude. Counting in millimeters. A slight upward change. If you already had 241s, would it be worth to go 245s? I'd struggle with that. I really would. If you were looking for just to jump into the player's cavity, or the player's cavity, not the player's distance, but player's cavity line, and you've never been into it, then I would suggest it. Yeah, I had a couple of those in here, Charlie, and you know what? I thought seriously about them, and then I just said no, I'm not going to do that. But right, I'm down with that. I like that because the 95 is going to be a slightly higher launching shaft, which I don't mind doing, and I could do with that. Julian Roberts, there's a new one. Man, we had 3 new ones. Thank you guys for showing up. Bought some Wilson Dynapro irons after watching a couple of your videos. Thanks for the advice. Thanks for your advice, Robin. Oh, look at that. I don't know about the Dynapro, but they do have some of those Dynapower irons. Yeah, those are for hitting easy to hit irons. I don't think you're going to find one nicer. But thank you, bud. And Julian, thank you for being on. Remember to hit like and subscribe. When does Wilson their new line? Soon. Wilson's modus operandi is normally they wait for everybody else to get theirs out and then they release it. They talk about theirs at the end. I've talked to them already. I know it's coming. I'm very excited about the D9 Forge replacement, which is the Dynapower. Some of the new putters are going to be very, very nice. We'll see what happens then. Hey, my dog Rex, hit the thumbs up, students. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. John Lamb in wintry Calgary. So now reduced to chipping and putting in the basement and a bit of golf dome time. Time for a Florida trip. I'm not going to argue. I am not going to argue with that. I think what we've done this year, Robin and I talked about it. We've decided not to go to the PGA show. We just decided, we were only going to go down for a day, and we checked it one day. We talked about it, went back the next day, and the flights just did not jive. We just wanted to go down, take on over there, do all the filming we could do, search and destroy some stuff, get back on the plane at night, and come back. Well, now that we waited one day, and now we got the plane flight out, but the return trip is jammed up. So now we had to wait a day, which means you got to take clothes, you got to do all this stuff, and I'm not playing that. And driving down is not an option because that just ruins the whole one-day strike. So I think we're just going to be observers from afar on this one. All right. Hey, let's get my golf to 50K in subscribers in 20. Oh, man, that would be awesome. That would be phenomenal, and I'd appreciate it if that happened. And I got to do my work as well, Dan. We gotta start putting out the content in order for you guys to like it. Charlie got 6 to 8 inches, looking for a ton of rain and high winds starting tomorrow night. Well, you got the light end of it then, because I've been seeing some guys talking about anywhere from 10 to 2 foot. Good for you. Rick Shields tested the new Cleveland drivers. Well, if he did, then that means it's out. And I can show you. It still has the wrapper on it. There it is, XL. It's got a big old thingy going across here. There's the face, which you can't tell anything with a sticker on it. And there's the top. It's a solid top with some lines. Ooh, and they can feel the lines. Still got a wrapper on it. And he gave me a regular flex shaft, which I don't know if he's trying to tell me something, but it's a 40 grammer. This ought to be unique. And normally when they do that, they've made this thing like 46 inches or some crazy length. So I'll be choking down to the end of the club. That'll be, and it's going to be just an absolute shot to my friggin' ego if it works really, really good. Oh. 60s in Florida, too cold to play. Oh, give me a break, dude. So yeah, I'm starting to play like Callaway smoke. I'm starting to like the Callaway drivers. Maybe I'll book a fitting to test them. Well, based on what I know you're gaming, Krister, I don't think you'll be disappointed, but just make sure it's real close to what you're currently swinging. Lawrence Bronson, here's another one. Thank you, buddy, for joining. Snow covered in Jersey. Golfer's elbow cures. Ooh. Well, number one, Lawrence, as far as elbow cures go, is in some cases just a softer grip. That's one. Sometimes a graphite shaft to just reduce that vibration. Because normally the golfer's elbow comes from a couple of things. One, you're taking these massive divots, and that elbow is taking all that stress for when you dig. That could be part of it. Another one is that when you come back in the swing, you might even have a massively severe chicken wing. That I can't fix. But maybe a lighter club might do it right there. Another thing, if you really, really, really like your golf clubs, is they have vibration dampening inserts. If you're at that point where you might need a new set of grips, have them remove that and insert these vibration dampening inserts, and that very well may help you as well. My dog Rex. Okay, McGolfer, 60 watching, only 29 likes. Thank you, sir. Lawrence is saying happy 2024. Same to you. Sonny V, he's up in Canada. Got our first real snowfall this year yesterday, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, sir. Stay safe. Diddy bag. I haven't heard that say since I left the Navy. Well, I'm full of old sayings, man, because, well, I'm old. Yeah, that's, it is what it is. And I've used a couple of those here as of late. What was another one? Nitty gritty was another one I used. And, there's another one that caught some folks off guard. Oh, yeah. And that was preceded by F and A. Yeah, you're right. Warren's Golf says he believes Tiger shoes are special made by FootJoy. Well, cool. I don't think that. I don't know if we. I don't know if we. I don't know what going. I can't think that big with Tiger and those guys. Those guys are working on a different planet when it comes to the amount of money. I mean, let's face it. He's a billionaire, and he's made money for being a tremendous golfer, and he's capitalized on a lot of stuff. He's had his fair share of goings ons, but he knows how to. he's got a crew around him that are great business people, I'm sure, and he's doing that. I would not be surprised if he doesn't have something that would come out that either another business or another collaboration that will help him out even more. Tiger 96 for my dad, call it chump change. Well, he turned it into something after that, didn't he? Changed over from Philippines. Okay. My dog Rex, MZ24 looks similar to my cubic balance blades. I reshafted and regripped. The MZ is more shiny. Okay. Well, they are, and theirs is more of a. Oh, where'd they go? Here we go. That's 245. And they really have. They're more, and it's kind of funny because these is what I would call a. They look shiny because of the light, but there you go. I mean, that's really what it is. I think it's more of a satiny finish, not hard chrome or hard shiny chrome by any shape of the imagination. It's just a. I would call it a satiny finish. Scott Kintzing. All right. Love the channel and the great insights. Keep up the great work, Scott. Well, thank you, Scott. And there's another one. We're like a record here. It's 4 of them. If you're Steve Bird, if you're moving groups to replace them, you can also install shaft dampeners. Hey, look at that. I think so. We got to 22. I counted them up. And it took us basically the better part of a week to figure out where all the bottles had to go. And there's Scott enjoying some Rebel bourbon along with you guys. Nicely done, Rebel. I've heard of that one. I think when we go back, my brother-in-law likes Russell and more of a wild turkey kind of thing. And I can't believe that it would be bad. I like the rare breed out of there, actually. Looks to be pretty interesting, but we'll see what happens. Hi, everybody on Facebook Live. Jerry Wilson from rainy Louisiana. Hope everyone had a blessed Christmas and a new year. Also, I am doing in PT, so can't go. I was wondering if that was. I got an itch. Golly. Oh, always happens when I get on camera. I was wondering if you were going to get into that or not. Hopefully, you're taking it slow. Take it slow. Do it right, and come back. John Kelly, Happy New Year. Same to you, sir. Boo, I could have sworn you were a lefty. Okay. Uh-oh, there's our girl, Jenna. How are you doing? You and Barry. There's a longtime friends from us from back in the Indiana days, back when we were in school. Navy buddies, as the case may be. Barry's getting more and more into old fashions. Uh-oh. Your best suggestions, by the way. Hi, Robin. Miss y'all. If you didn't want to mess with it, there's a bottle out there. It ends in I'm going to say it wrong, but it's like David and Schengler, but that's not it. But it's a normal bottle, and it looks like it has a metal plate, and it's an old-fashioned mix, just ready to rock and roll. Give it a little shake. And it's made with Buffalo Trace. Give it a little shake, throw a little bit of the orange on the top, and you're good to go. As far as good whiskeys or bourbons to go with it, honestly, Buffalo Trace is a really good one to have. If you can't find that down there, then I would think that, and this is just pure speculation on my part, but like a Wild Turkey 101 would be another good one, or Bullet would be another good one. Those are really good, I would call mixing whiskeys or mixing bourbons. I'd have him try that. And it's his fault that I got a damn griddle, by the way. That stuff that you guys cooked on it was awesome, and now I've got one. So yeah, just couldn't let it go. That's me in a nutshell. So hey, glad to see you guys. Jack, have you ever been to St. Augustine Distillery? Pretty nice bourbons, vodka, gin, and rum, and also a restaurant serving cocktails. I have not. The St. Augustine, we're talking about Florida, because there's an Augusta distillery in Kentucky. And I don't know if that's what we're talking about, but St. Augustine, no, but that would be kind of cool to go to. That would give Mrs. McGolf a reason to go with the vodka and the gin and or the rum, and me to get the other stuff. We drove by it. When did we do that? Bill Nauman. I really like the Cleveland 3 and 4 hybrids. Will you be testing the Cleveland driver? Yep, right here. And I got the hybrids and I got the Fairwood, so we'll see how that goes. Charlie replaced his formula with a 7 wood and my 5-iron with a 9 wood, loving them both. Nice. Jerry Wilson talking to Miss Robin. All right, looking for a new driver. Very cool. Well, maybe we can help. Would quicker to fly to see you than to get to Scotland. I'm 12 hours drive from Cornwall. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I wouldn't. So Pui, I would look him up because he has several locations. There might be one closer. You just never know. That guy's always expanding too. So I still SGGT. Sorry. Anyway, there you go. Old fashioned Jim favorite. Miss y'all too. Yep. Look at that. What we're talking about. David Hammer purchased the 2 Edison wedges only to UK. Shafted them with to match my irons first round, 6 birdies. Nice. Yes, I do know Edison. The guy's name is Terry Kohler. I dealt with him when he was 2 wedge companies before that. They were called Eidolons back then. And yeah, they were really nice. Brandon W. Is Callaway releasing new wedges? I do not think so, Brandon. I don't think so. If they are, I'm not aware of it. The only thing that they did new that could be a 2024 release is they did a full toe J grind, right? A 24 J grind. And basically what that means is it's heel relief, no toe relief. And I like it. I've got one in the bag right now it's the demo club, but it's replaced my other one, and I had another full toe. This thing just works for me. But that's the only thing I've seen. Now, it doesn't mean that something won't show up, but right now in their cycle, they got one more year before they start replacing them. Mike Delvesco, Happy New Year to you too, sir. Thank you for being on. Henry Monster, Happy New Year. Ended up going with Modus 105 from 125. Not looking back. Good for you, brother. Way to go. John Lamb can play in 60, my dog Rex. It's those sudden rain squalls that I can't. Yeah, me too. James Robinson has tested the new Triple Diamond in Callaway. Yeah, he started off kind of like, oh, it's going to be good. And then all of a sudden he was like, oh, yeah, this is really good stuff. Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. Golf swings. Quick question about Mizuno copper finish wedges. Okay. When removing the heads, does the flame affect the finish at all? I have a T22 set. Not really. Not really. But so golf swings, like most copper things, you can clean them off, right? So as a whole, copper will tend to patina anyway, right? It naturally will get darker. That face on that T22 will get darker. When you hit it, all it's going to do is get a little darker. If you don't like that darker finish, you can take a little scrubby and just scrub all the way around it and bring it right back. You're more than welcome, sir. Josh and Courtney Higgins. So how are you doing, buddy? Happy New Year. Yep, and same to you, sir. Henry, what's up there? You were just up here not too long ago. What are your thoughts on mini drivers? I'm hitting my fairway woods well, considering mini driver experiment. I have an open club slot it would be a tiny, a T club only. Or yeah, T only club. I don't know, dude. I really don't know. We used to call them thrivers in the day, and they were high lofted mini drivers, and they tend to work for a lot of guys. I personally didn't like them. If you are hitting your driver well, or if you're hitting your fairway woods well, then the mini driver makes sense. If you are not, then no. Yeah, right where we're at. Cleveland XL driver gonna have a draw face again? Oh, I'm sure they are. Cleveland's all about that, right? They're all about the being super duper forgiving, trying to eliminate slices. Good vibes. Very good, sir. Jerry says recently hit the Epic Star 7 hybrid and really liked it. Saw it on Amazon at a decent price. Brand new. Don't understand why 2019 Club would still be available new. Mostly because they didn't lower the price on it, Jerry, and because the Epic Star was a very pricey golf club. It's super duper light head, super duper light shaft, super duper light grip, and they were going after the Dunlop clubs, the Zexio clubs with that. That's what they were going after, and so they priced them up. Wayne Nething, how are you, sir? Thank you for joining us. Steve Moltzby. All right. How do you feel about the Cobra Lunwink irons, Evan Williams? Oh, Evan Williams. There we go. I think so. Here's my thing. I think one length has its place in the world of golf. The theory, the physics or the theory behind it, one swing, several different clubs, different results, not bad. If you're a traditional golfer, you will probably hate it. It will not jive with your mindset. But if you're somebody that's willing to accept that, and that's what I've done with people that I've made mine for, if you're willing to accept that particular change, you actually will golf very, very well. And it removes just one, we'll say articulation or one extra thing that could cause you to miss the golf ball because they're all the same length, right? Normally, the higher length golf clubs are the really hardest to hit. And in this particular, and it's kind of funny that the same thing translates, right? At a 5-iron, you still got to have a level of swing speed in order to get the ball up, regardless of the shaft length. And now they have some hybrids in there. I don't think the hybrids are all that in a bag of chips in some companies, but in other ones they probably are. But yeah, I think they have it. And then Evan Williams, we haven't been there just yet, but that's certainly on the list. Any really good single malt? Well, I tend to prefer Glenfiddich. That's mine. Or I have a couple in there. Obviously, I like Macallan and then Dalmore. Those are my three go-tos. And then if I've got a little extra change, then I'll get a Belvini in there. But that's because that's what's available here in rural Ohio. I'm sure there are other ones out there, but I tend to stay in the space side with plus or minus a few in the highlands and some into the lowlands. I can't get too far up, and I will not do an Islay. I cannot take that smoky flavor they put in it. Happy New Year. Same to you, sir. Paul Van Vliet, you say, buddy? Just pulled a pork roast, potatoes, carrots, onions, and pressure cooker. You are the man. I also did other smashed sandwiches over the weekend. We did do a pork butt, and that might be dinner tonight. Justin Beer, another question on your. Okay. I see you have built wood boxes underneath them. Is that to keep the buffing wheel off the table? The answer to that is yes. Yes, it is. And you know the dimensions. Not off the top of my hand, Justin. Basically, it's just big enough to support the base. It's nothing special. I just measured the base because my base has suction cups on it. And so when I pushed down, I went to the base and gave it I think another 3/8 of an inch on both sides. And then I went like a half an inch deep either way so I could move it around. And it's just plywood and 1-bys. And that's all it is. And then if you have suction cups and you really wanted to make it work, you're going to want to put like a really quick level of poly on there so that the thing has something to suck down on. Because if you just sand it and maybe put some linseed, there's still the holes and it won't grab. All right, you could paint it, I suppose, and that would do just fine as well. There's Dean Walker. All right. There's Dean Walker, and there's the friends and customers into friends. Well done. Thank you for that one. He is our guy. We enjoyed the ride over and back, and we did make it back in time to listen to the stream. Very good. Glad to see you make it. Not only that, but Dean makes the very last one that we're there, and we went our typical half an hour over. We're back into it, guys and gals. All righty, so tomorrow, video. It's going to be on the 2023. Please take a look. It's just a real quick overview of what went through McGolf and equipment and whatnot. I based on what I'm seeing out there, I think I'm going to throw together another video of all this testing that I just did. We just talked about a lot of it. You get to see numbers and some pretty pictures and things like that for the Mizuno. Then right after that, next week we'll release the Cleveland stuff, and then by that time I'll have the Callaway stuff, and we'll be able to talk about that. Again, thank you guys. Happy 2024. Let's make it a good one. If you got some friends, let's do some subscribing out there. And as always, we got to do two things. As always, let's turn our customers into friends, and let's see your scores go low.